I'm Gary Sutton. I'm with Terry Madonna here this morning. And Terry, it's been an interesting week when you look at the New Hampshire primaries and where we're going in terms of Nevada next, South Carolina, and then, of course, Super Tuesday looms out ahead. What were your thoughts about New Hampshire the other night and Bernie Sanders edging out Pete Buttigieg? Your thoughts about all that?
Well, let's start with the fact that there were 3 winners and 2 losers out of New Hampshire. You can't argue, I think, that even though he won by less than 2 percentage points, that Bernie Sanders is the favorite at the moment to win the Democratic nomination when the Democrats meet July in Milwaukee. I'm not saying he's going to win the nomination, but he's clearly the favorite. He has the momentum. And then, surprisingly, Pete Buttigieg, which came out of Iowa, which was an absolute chaos, declaring after the evening of the Iowa caucuses that he was the winner. He went into New Hampshire with considerable momentum. And what's really interesting about that is, number one, how close the primary was. Number two, the groundswell of support that comes to him, and the fact that he's now a contender. He comes across not just as a center-left politician, but in a sense like a new, I don't want to say outsider, but a new face, a face of change. And he reminds you in that sense of Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, and you could even go back to John F. Kennedy. Again, I'm not suggesting he's going to win the nomination, but he's certainly a contender now. And
go ahead.
Moving down the list, you have Senator Klobuchar, who literally had a wonderful debate Friday a week ago before the New Hampshire primary, and she's surged into third place.
Up to 20%, yeah.
That's correct. And then the 2 big losers, without doubt, were Joe Biden. He didn't even hang around to thank his supporters in New Hampshire. He immediately tracked down to South Carolina, a state that's his firewall. 2 out of every 3 voters there will be African American. Joe Biden has consistently led with African American voters, although that lead has slipped. It was 40 to 45 percentage points at one point. It's now about half of that, as Tom Steyer has been running multiple ads in South Carolina and some other places, and he now looks like he may pick up some of the African-American vote in South Carolina. If, in fact, Biden doesn't do well in South Carolina, he's literally done. He's out of it completely.
And Elizabeth Warren just canceled 2 buys in South Carolina, we saw, and she's leaking water a lot. Here was a state, New Hampshire, right next door to Massachusetts. You would think she would have done a lot better.
There's no doubt about it. And by the way, she has no firewall. At least Biden has South Carolina, where he's consistently had a double-digit lead. She has not led in the next 2 states, Nevada, obviously Saturday a week from now, it's a caucus, and South Carolina. So make no mistake about it. I think she's very, very much damaged. And it's hard for her to figure out how to recover, because she and Bernie Sanders draw support essentially from the same progressive base. And unless she finds a way to recover, and that seems very, very hard to do, you think she's in maybe drops out after South Carolina. But who knows right now about who's in and who's out, right?
And looming over all of that is Mike Bloomberg down the line for Super Tuesday, and that will be something you and I will discuss next time, all here on WSBA Morning News with Gary Sutton, Terry Madonna, Franklin and Marshall Polster. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Always appreciate it, my friend.
My pleasure.
Take care.